That falls on me as our point guard. I think I have to really get us into stuff, especially in the fourth quarter. We didn't do a good job of taking care of the ball. I didn't. So I think just starts with me and just getting better in that. And
In the world of sports, emotions run high. The pressure to perform, the competition, the relentless drive to succeed, all of it creates an environment where tensions can boil over at any moment. For Caitlin Clark, one of the most dynamic names in basketball today, that moment has arrived. Clark, known for her unmatched skill and leadership, has finally broken her silence about her rocky relationship with Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White. And what she revealed wasn't just another sports headline. It could have serious, lasting consequences, not only for her own career, but for the reputation of the league itself. To understand why this matters, you need to know who Caitlin Clark is. She isn't just another rising player, she's a phenomenon. With her electrifying play for the Iowa Hawkeyes, her jaw-dropping range, and her ability to take over games single-handedly, Caitlin has captured the attention of fans across the nation. Overnight, she became the face of college basketball, a player whose name was spoken alongside the greats. But with that fame came a heavier burden: the spotlight, the scrutiny, and now, controversy. Recently, a simmering tension with Stephanie White came to the surface, and it shocked the basketball world. It all started during an intense matchup against the Indiana Fever. The stage was set. Fans and analysts expected a show, and Caitlin delivered. She was everywhere, controlling the tempo, draining impossible shots, and bending defenses to her will. Every possession she touched turned into a highlight. But something was wrong. Observers noticed questionable coaching decisions from Stephanie White. Rotations seemed off. Plays designed without Caitlin in mind. Substitutions that pulled her at critical moments. To some, it felt less like strategy and more like a deliberate attempt to slow her down. The tension became impossible to ignore. Clark's brilliance on the floor seemed to clash with White's sideline decisions. The energy shifted. Miscommunication surfaced. And teammates began to sense it too, that there was more going on here than just basketball. By the time the final buzzer sounded, the score wasn't the only thing people were talking about. The real story was the cold distance between superstar player and head coach. And that was only the beginning.
I mean, I thought we executed really well in the first half. I thought we did a tremendous job of making them pick and choose out of the ball screen if they're going to play drop.
Caitlin Clark's decision to finally speak out didn't come overnight. After weeks of frustration and months of holding everything in, she decided it was time to let the world know what had really been happening behind the scenes. In an exclusive interview, Caitlin opened up about her experience with head coach Stephanie White and the Indiana Fever. For the first time, fans got a look at the side of the story that had never been told. She didn't hold back. Caitlin admitted that the challenges she faced weren't just from tough opponents on the court. They were also coming from the very coaching staff she had once trusted. Her words painted a picture of a difficult environment that left her questioning the game she loved and even the people around her. According to Caitlin, Stephanie White's behavior went far beyond normal coaching. What she described felt personal. She recalled moments where White openly questioned her leadership in front of teammates and even made comments that seemed designed to cut down her confidence instead of building it up. For Caitlin, this wasn't just about strategy or tough love. It felt like an attack on who she was as a player and as a leader. The basketball world was stunned. Fans, analysts, and even fellow players couldn't believe what they were hearing. This wasn't the usual coach-player tension people expect in high-pressure games. Caitlin's words exposed something much deeper, an issue of respect, fairness, and how young talent is treated in professional sports. Caitlin Clark's words didn't just highlight her own struggles. They spoke to a larger issue that often gets overlooked: how young athletes, especially women, are sometimes treated unfairly in places that should be helping them grow. But Caitlin didn't stop there. She revealed that her problems with the Indiana Fever went far beyond the basketball court. According to her, the environment inside the organization was toxic. Instead of building her confidence, coaches and staff seemed more focused on tearing it down. She described hostile, dismissive communication that left her wondering if the team truly cared about her development, not just as a player, but as a person. What should have been a supportive space for growth felt like the exact opposite. This revelation sent shockwaves through the basketball world. The Indiana Fever, once praised for their role in developing talent, were suddenly under fire. Fans and analysts began asking hard questions. How could a team allow one of the sport's brightest stars to feel so alienated? Stephanie White, long seen as a respected coach, now found herself in the middle of a storm. The backlash was immediate. Social media exploded with messages of support for Caitlin. Fans, players, and commentators rallied around her, praising her courage to speak out and demanding accountability. The Fever eventually released a public statement. Stephanie White called Caitlin's claims misunderstandings, saying any tension came from the intensity of competition. But instead of calming things down, the response fueled even more outrage. Many felt her words lacked sincerity and dodged responsibility. In the days that followed, the controversy only grew. What started as one player's painful experience had turned into a bigger conversation about fairness, respect, and the treatment of women in professional sports. Caitlin Clark's voice had sparked a reckoning, and the basketball world was now paying attention. And then, as if to remind everyone why she was in the spotlight to begin with, Caitlin let her game do the talking. Clark working behind Boston. Clark for the lead. Caitlin Clark's story struck a nerve because it revealed something bigger than just one player's struggle. Here was a generational talent, breaking records, drawing massive crowds, and inspiring millions, yet still facing mistreatment from the very people meant to guide and support her. And then the voices started multiplying. Former players and even coaches stepped forward, sharing their own experiences of discrimination and toxic environments in the sports world. Their testimonies echoed Caitlin's story, piling more pressure on the Fever and head coach Stephanie White to finally confront these issues head-on. The concern isn't just about the present. The real question is, what kind of long-term impact could this have on Caitlin Clark? At the peak of her career, with the world watching, Caitlin has the power to redefine women's basketball. But if she's forced to endure hostility instead of support, it could shake her confidence, limit her growth, and even alter the trajectory of her future. This was never just about a single disagreement between a player and a coach. It's about creating an environment where stars like Caitlin can thrive. It's about building a culture in women's sports where talent is nurtured, not torn down. If organizations like the Indiana Fever can't provide that, they risk alienating the very players who could elevate the game to new heights. The bottom line is simple. Caitlin Clark's courage has sparked a conversation that can't be ignored. Fans, analysts, and fellow athletes are demanding change. Now, all eyes are on the Fever. Will they accept responsibility and rebuild trust? Or will they downplay Caitlin's voice and risk losing everything? Their players, their fans, and their credibility? One thing is certain, Caitlin Clark has broken her silence. The world is listening. And this moment could become a turning point for the future of women's basketball, but only if the right lessons are learned. The future of women's basketball and the players who carry it forward depends on what happens next. Caitlin Clark's journey is far from over. She's faced challenges, but she's proven she won't stay silent. Her voice matters, and it will continue to echo through the halls of basketball for years to come. This isn't just about one game or one coach. It's about the culture of the sport itself, a culture that too often values power over player growth, silence over honesty, and control over true mentorship. When Caitlin Clark spoke up, she didn't just tell her story. She opened the door to a much larger conversation. How many young stars are silenced? How many are held back by toxic environments or leaders who fail to nurture them? Caitlin's courage has exposed something deeper, a truth many already felt, but few dared to say out loud. And now, the pressure isn't just on her shoulders. It's on the Indiana Fever. It's on Stephanie White. It's on every coach and organization that claims to value its players. Because here's the reality. Coaches aren't just there to draw up plays. Their job is to build confidence, to protect their athletes, and to create an environment where stars can thrive. When that fails, the damage goes far beyond the scoreboard. The Fever's response so far has only revealed how deep these issues run. Instead of confronting Caitlin's concerns with honesty, they tried to minimize them. But fans, fellow athletes, and the basketball community aren't fooled, and they're demanding better. Caitlin Clark's bravery is a rallying cry. She's shown every athlete who has felt voiceless that speaking out matters. Her story isn't the end. It's the beginning of a movement. And now, the ball is in the Fever's court. How they respond will define their legacy. Will they rise to the challenge and create real change? Or will they be remembered as the ones who let their brightest star slip away? The eyes of the basketball world are watching. Caitlin Clark has spoken. The question is, who's really listening?